Hey everyone, welcome to the Weeb Lounge. Now, whether you're a new player to Princess Connect Redive or you've been playing for a while, spending your quartz wisely is really important. So, whether you're new or you've been around for a while, I got a few tips for you that are really going to help out. Tip number one, and for most people who have been around gacha games for a long time, this is kind of a no-brainer, but at the same time, there's a lot of people that come to these games brand new every day. So let's take a look. Over at the gacha screen, which is where you're going to be spending your quartz, there are some things you should do and some things that you shouldn't do. And one thing that you really should not do is the single pull. Never ever do the single pull. Many different games, Kono Fan, Fate Grand Order, they have the option for the single pull. You'd never ever want to do that. Why? Why not? Well, when you do the 10 pull, you get at least a guaranteed 2-star. Single pulls, you're not guaranteed anything. 10 pull, you're going to get at least one single 2-star. And it doesn't matter if you have this character or not, because if you happen to have the character, a 2-star, you're going to get 10 of the goddess fragments. You can use those to get other memory fragments and overall, in the long term, help you out even more. Never do the single pull, ever. Now, in the case of the 1 time a day pull, that's paid quartz. If you're willing to spend your hard-earned cash on this game and you want to do that 1 time a day pull, you can do that. 50 quartz, you get a lot more benefit, a lot more bang for your buck out of that. But that, of course, you have to remember that's only paid quartz. So it's only going to be if you're going to spend money on this thing, which a majority of people try to avoid spending any cash on this whatsoever, which is not terribly a wise thing, but I'll get into that later. Now, tip number 2 is something that, a lot of people like to do this or reluctantly do this. And that is spending your jewels on stamina refills. In this game, most of these gacha games actually, it's not a terribly good idea, except in rare occasions. Now what I mean by that is, go here, you spend 40 of your jewels, and you get 120 stamina. Now, that can be really useful, right? You can grind out some gear, you can try to finish up a level, a whole bunch of things that you can do, but in all reality, you're just dumping quartz right down the drain, because eventually, if you just have a little bit of patience, you're going to get what you need to get. Now, the dungeons and all these other quests, everything has a campaign and it rotates, double here and then a week later it'll be double someplace else. The only time you should ever consider spending quartz on stamina refills is in the very rare occasion where they do a triple drop rate. Now, on very hard modes, a triple drop rate is incredibly useful to get those uber 6-star fragments. In the regular hard modes, just for regular memory fragments, having up to 3 drop per time, that's incredibly useful. So in those respects, using quartz to fill up stamina, I can certainly see it as justified. But otherwise, you're just wasting quartz on stuff that you would otherwise get if you just had a little patience. For a third little tip, never ever use your quartz to refresh quests. Now, I know this is incredibly tempting to do, but on hard modes and very hard modes, you're going for those fragments, and it can take a long time to get those fragments. And it's like, my God, I really wish I could speed this up. Well, to a degree you can. For example, here I have the option to get some UE memory fragments, right? Well, I already did them. I have 0 of 3. If I go into here, it won't let me do it, right? Not quite. When it's at 0, if you click this, a little message comes up, click OK, and for 50 quartz or jewels, you can get 3 more tries. You can only do it once per day on all the hard mode and very hard mode quests, but is that worth doing? No, it is not worth doing. Time and patience, again, is your friend. Never spend quartz in this way, except, you knew there was going to be an exception, in very rare cases. Now, that rare case is once again that triple drop rate. In those rare instances, it may well be worth the quartz to do that. But keep in mind that during those times, you're going to be really tempted to go through an awful lot of jewels. An awful lot of jewels, because you're going to want to like refresh this character and this character and this character and this hard mode and this very hard mode and this hard mode. And you're going to want to just keep doing that over and over every single day during that event, and that's one way that they're going to soak up your jewels. Don't give into temptation. Unless you're one of those big spenders and you got a ridiculous amount of quartz, I mean, that's your money. You do what you want to do. But for us free-to-play players, stick to having patience. Patience is key in all things jewelry. Also, side note, you can kind of do the same thing in an arena where you can speed up your attacks and everything, try to get a higher place and a higher place. You don't do that either. We'll get on to the next tip. All right, for that fourth tip, don't spend it. Just don't. Save your jewels. Don't spend it on anything. Don't throw it in a gacha. Don't refresh stuff. Don't advance your arena position. Don't get more stamina. Just don't spend it. Now, I don't mean don't ever spend it. What I mean is stockpile the hell out of it. This is going to be very favorable for you in the long run, because the more you stockpile, the more you're going to have ready and available for those really good gachos, those big events, that character that everyone and their mother wants to get, that waifu that you just want to marry, or whatever floats your boat, right? Stockpile your quartz, because in all actuality, the way Princess Connect does these gachas is that if you do a total of 300 pulls, and yes, that's a lot of quartz, that's actually 45,000 quartz if you're just doing 10 pulls. But if you actually have that much, if you have a ridiculous amount stockpiled, well, after that 300th pull, a thing will pop up and be like, hey, well, here, pick your character. And you can actually, whatever characters are in that gacha pool, it'll pop up and be like, okay, well, I don't want that character. I didn't get the character I wanted, or you're looking for a new waifu because the last one treated you bad. You can just go ahead and, click one, boop, and you got yourself a new character of your choosing. So stockpile that quartz for special gachas, special characters, that waifu, whatever. But until that comes up, don't spend your quartz on anything. Now, my fifth and final tip is probably the absolute most important one of all. Something that'll take a little bit of effort on your guys' part. And that is research. Research. What do I mean by research? A lot of people want to go for every single new character that's out. They want to be a completist. They want to have all the things, right? Well, having all the things is going to end up costing you all the money. So unless you plan on spending thousands of dollars in this game, don't go with that as a realistic idea. Just don't. What should you do? What should you do? Research. Now, right up here, I'm putting an overlay that has a website along with the address, and it is appmedia.jp/precon-redive. Now, this website, it has strategies, it has character abilities, it has everything, but, well, it's in Japanese. And unfortunately, not everyone speaks Japanese. I'm not good enough to go through this page without a translator. And that's where Google Translate comes into play. Install Google Translate, use it to translate the page. It does a halfway decent job. I mean, it's not perfect. I mean, it's garbage. I'll be honest. It's kind of bad, but it's enough to get the idea of what's going on. And one of the most important things is a character's overall ranking. They rank them in 3 different categories: Arena, Clan Battles, and Luna Tower. And it goes all the way up to a triple S ranking. Basically C, B, A, S, double S, triple S. And the higher ranked a character is in this, the higher overall rank that they're going to get. Now, one of the recent characters that they just put in, I was expecting to roll for, right? I had some quartz saved up. I was expecting to roll for it. And it turns out this character's overall rating was just like an A. And an A actually is not a good ranking. It was like A, B, B or something. So they averaged it up to an A. A is actually kind of crap. So it turns out that this character, if I spent my quartz on this character, it would be a character that I never used. So that's why I say research. Find characters that are really, really high rated. Take Nanika, for example. She's on the bottom left of my little thing here, like kind of right where my finger is, right there. Yep, right there. She is useful in like everything. She is like, I think, the only triple S ranked character in all 3 categories. So in other words, a really damn good character. So do your research, and I'm going to have to say, if the character doesn't have an overall rank of S or higher, you might want to pass on them. And, there might be a few characters here and there that have a lower rank that are useful in certain scenarios. Maybe eventually you can get those. But for the most part, stick to the S rank or higher. If they're triple S ranked in something, that's probably where your quartz is going to go. So that's the most important thing of all. Research. That way you don't end up spending a ton of quartz trying to get a cute new little waifu that you're never ever going to see or use in the game itself. Those are my 5 tips. Awesome of you guys to stick around. Be sure to give me a like, give me a subscribe, give me a share, whatever platform you're on. I really appreciate it. I got more Princess Connect videos to come, and actually I'm going to restart doing Konosuba Fantastic Day videos. Even after I said I wouldn't, I'm going to restart because things change, life changes, whatever the case may be. If you found this useful, please give it a like. Comment down below if I missed something, or if you have your own tips or whatever. Greatly appreciated. I'm sure the community would appreciate it as well. We'll see you in the next video.